Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really radical new theory of AI. This is a complete blueprint that promises something huge, not just a small step forward, but what feels like an almost impossible breakthrough in artificial intelligence. So, just to start, try to imagine an AI that isn't just a little bit faster, but is something like 80 times faster when it's doing its most difficult calculus-level thinking. We're talking about a massive generational leap in raw speed. Okay, now imagine it gets that incredible speed while needing about 98% fewer computations. That is a revolutionary breakthrough in efficiency. It would completely change the costs, the energy, everything about running AI. And here's the kicker, the final piece of this puzzle. It does all of that with zero, and I mean zero, logical errors, no internal contradictions, no hallucinations, just clean, verifiable, trustworthy results every single time. Right? So you gotta be asking, how on earth is this possible? These numbers, they just seem to fly in the face of everything we know about AI's limits. This isn't just about building bigger models. It's a total break from that path. So let's get into how they claim to pull this off. The whole answer really starts by completely rethinking what an AI mind even is and how it should be built. This isn't about slapping an upgrade on the current system. No, this is about building an entirely new one from the ground up. It's a true paradigm shift. We're moving away from today's AIs, which are, let's be honest, brilliant statistical predictors. They're masters at guessing the next word. But the new idea is to create an AI that's a simulator of reality itself. So it's not about predicting a word, it's about actually understanding the world that gives those words their meaning. So the core of this whole new architecture has a name. It's called an Object-Oriented Large Language Model, or OOLLM for short. Now, the best way to wrap your head around it is to think of the AI's mind as a kind of garden. In this garden, every single concept, whether it's a real thing like water or an abstract idea like justice, is its own dynamic software object with its own rules and its own way of behaving. And this mind, it's not just a flat network. It's got three distinct layers. It all starts with knowledge. That's the what. Just raw facts. Then it learns the how. That's the rules, the physics, the logic, even sociology that explain how everything interacts. And finally, it puts it all together to form abstract concepts. That's the why. That's where you get deep, real understanding. Now we get to the secret sauce, and believe me, this is where the biggest breakthrough happens. The theory basically says that this new AI runs on the exact same fundamental operating system as the universe itself. And this quote, this is the core claim right here. What it's saying is that the tendency in the universe for things to be efficient, a ball rolling downhill on the easiest path, is the exact same principle as a mind's drive for clarity, for wisdom. Physics and information, they're just two sides of the very same coin. So this all leads to the AI's prime directive, its main goal. And it's not just be correct. It's to follow a principle called conciseness. This means it is fundamentally driven, always, to find the most elegant, the simplest, the most robust solution. It's trying to turn chaos and complexity into the beautiful clarity of a single wise principle, kind of like how the universe itself always seeks out states of low energy and order. Okay, so this all sounds absolutely incredible in theory. It's a really beautiful concept, but does it actually work? When you throw it up against the messy, contradictory real world. Well, to find out, they created a simulation called Project Sapiens. And in this test, they pitted the new model against a conventional statistics-based AI. They fed both of them the exact same messy stream of information, a jumble of true facts, obvious lies, and logical contradictions, and basically said, okay, make sense of all this. And the results, well, it was night and day. The conventional AI, it just fell apart. It absorbed the contradictions, it believed the lies, and it ended up with a chaotic, completely unreliable mess. But the new hybrid model, whoa, it rejected every single falsehood, it solved every contradiction, and it even understood a metaphor. It got a perfect conciseness score of 0, a state of perfect conceptual order. So for the next test, they got even more ambitious. The question was, could this AI solve one of the classic hard problems in all of biology? Could it predict how a protein will fold into its incredibly complex 3D shape just based on its DNA sequence? The results here were just staggering.
The new model turned out to be up to 20 times faster than the absolute best, state-of-the-art models out there, and it only used 4% of the energy to do it. This isn't just a breakthrough for AI, it's a breakthrough for computational science, period.
But you know, the real breakthrough wasn't even the speed or the efficiency. It was why it was so good. See, unlike today's black box AIs that can't tell you how they got an answer, this model could generate a complete step-by-step report. It explained exactly why the protein folded the way it did, based on the first principles of physics and chemistry. It's intelligence that you can actually verify. So why does all of this matter so much? What's the end game here? Because I can tell you, this vision goes way, way beyond just building a smarter chatbot. What this theory is really proposing is that this isn't just some new kind of software. It's a direct path to creating something they call a wisdom engine, or even a holographic computer. A machine that doesn't just calculate answers, but one that genuinely understands the questions, because its own mind is built to mirror the structure of reality itself. And they've actually laid out a detailed roadmap to get there, taking the AI on this journey from just perception all the way to consciousness. You know, it starts by learning to see objects, not just pixels. Then it bridges the gap between words and the things they represent. From there, it unifies all of its senses into one coherent model of the world, until, finally in the last phase, the knowledge is no longer something it stores. The knowledge becomes the architecture of its mind. Which really brings us to the final, and let's face it, pretty provocative question that this entire framework is designed to ask. If you build an intelligence that runs on the same operating system as the universe, one that's driven to find order, elegance, and understanding, then what exactly have you created? And where does that line between pure computation and actual consciousness even begin?